All right, part 3 of this Tudors house mansion / tabletop gaming build, and we jump right into it with doing some roof work. This part did not go very well, to be honest with you. This cut, the excess shingles on the top did not go very well at all. I made it look sloppy right there, which is fine, but the beam that I had originally planned to put there turned out to be way too small. So after gluing on the shingles that did not stay on from the cut, I ended up having to widen the beam quite a bit by adding 2 little mini beams off to the side of it, which you'll see here in just a second. This was actually a really good compromise, and it turned out to be better looking than what I had originally planned. The cut on the smaller roofs went a lot smoother, but here's that beam, making it a little extra wide. Honestly, it turned out to look better than what I had originally planned. The glue up of this did not go well at all either. It was a lot of gluing and filling gaps and all kinds of things. Yeah, it was really kind of a big pain, but it ended up working out in the long run. I even had to put glue on the back side of it, which I probably would have done anyways, but yeah, you live and you learn, and sometimes you can't foresee things coming. But so I ended up copying this on the other smaller beams. The original plan was to use smaller beams than the big roof beam. I ended up putting the little 2 sides on these 2, and it ended up looking really great, and also was necessary. You can actually remove hot glue as well with these little tools, these little poker tools, and it works really well. Also twists them out as well. But gave it a little bit of wood texture with the wire brush. I probably would have done this beforehand, before gluing up the 3 pieces of that roof beam, just to make sure I could get in all the corners and everything. One thing that I actually consistently forget is to add the texture from the wire brush on some pieces I'm working on. It was then time to work on some, I'm going to call them fascia beams, basically to cover up the ends of the foam core and the shingles that you can see on the front side of the roofs. This is just a nice square beam. Cleaned it up really well, added some wood texture, and just hot glued those in place. This made a huge difference. It would look silly without adding these pieces, to be honest with you. So yeah, turned out really nice, and I was really pleased that I was able to cover up those shingles, because that was one of the concerns I had, and have it kind of look good. One thing that I never did was the under part of the roof there, the black that you see. I never really did anything to give that texture, and in retrospect, I think I might have done that. From there, it was time to make a lot more of those same size beams. They're just like a 1/4 inch squared, and I used these to actually do some trim pieces around the bases of all the removable pieces. This accomplished a few things. 1, the aesthetic looks really good, but 2, you can't see the dividing lines between the separate floors now from the foam pieces by adding these. This cleans it up well, gives it some dimension, and I really like the way it turned out. Then it was finally time to start working on the window trim on the exterior. This is the same width as those larger beams that we just talked about, but they're a bit thinner, just to kind of create, again, more dimension. So I cut these to size, gave them some wood trim, and then hot glued them in place. This took a long time because I made a lot of windows and a lot of doors. I also had to do this on the interior. So yeah, in hindsight, probably would have not made the house so big yet again. But I'm really happy with the result of this. It really did pay off in the long run, but I guess just really pay attention to how big of a project you're about to take on. My next project will be much, much smaller, I guarantee it. I then had this idea to add a dormer to the side of this roof. It was just a really big space, and I wanted to kind of break it up a little bit. So I made a little dormer off camera, and then figured out where to place it, and then had to glue it down. So first I had to actually cut out, so I traced it, and then I had to cut out the existing shingles there so it would kind of sit flush and look nice. This was kind of fun to pull apart pieces that you actually put in place a long time ago, and but it ended up working out. So I'm really pleased, and I honestly can't imagine this house without this dormer there. Made a world of difference. Again, being able to adjust mid-project is very key, and I really, really am happy with this dormer. This recording of this particular part actually probably happened about a month ago, so it's really interesting to look back and see how much I've grown since just this part. So yeah, if you're ever nervous to start trying something new, just start doing it and you'll learn the lessons that you need to learn. So this dormer, just like I said, just popped up in my head like mid-project, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna cut into the side of this nice pristine roof. But you know, I think that's how we learn. We fail, so, or overlook things, and I definitely overlooked this big open space. In hindsight, it's funny because I think about it, I'm like, this totally would have bothered me had I known it was gonna be a thing. So yeah, just get out there and start crafting and start doing something that you're interested in, and you will learn along the way. After I got that all situated, I wanted to add a little bit of, I guess, character to the front of the house, just to give it a little bit more curb appeal, if you will. So I made these like little wood support beams that actually don't support anything, and to be honest with you, they are the most fragile thing on the entire house. I broke one of them, just the same one, on 2 separate occasions while working on it afterwards. Just the tip, and was able to glue it back in place. But these made a really big difference, and again, I really like the way they turned out. They're completely out of foam. If I would have done them again, I would have made them out of like a balsa wood, something a bit more sturdy. But they ended up working out, and I'm very pleased with the result. It was just a little bit more trim work after that, and we've come to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Please comment if you want. If you have any questions, suggestions, anything like that, I'd be happy to hear them. I have another video or another project I'm planning on doing here in the future. It'll be much smaller. It'll just be one video for the whole project. But yeah, wrapping this up, I just added a couple more fancy wood bits at the top. And yeah, catch me in the next video, and I look forward to hearing from you guys. Thanks.